Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Gwei Refuel, where I recap the latest news in the Ethereum ecosystem. I'm your host, Anthony Sassano, and today's the 9th of November 2021. Alright everyone, let's get into it. So, ENS is finally live, or should I say the ENS token. So I'm sure a lot of you have already claimed your ENS tokens. It has been a wild last 24 hours on Ethereum Twitter, that's for sure. I woke up this morning and there was just so much that happened. You know, obviously the ENS token went live, Rocket Pool went on mainnet, a few other things. I'm going to go through it obviously on the Refuel, but it's just great to see kind of like these events kind of unfold in real time. I think the last time that I felt kind of like that, I guess, overwhelmed when I woke up was back on when the Uniswap airdrop happened, and it kind of like I don't think I woke up to it. I think it kind of got announced at I think it was 1 p.m. my time, and everything just blew up about it, of course. And then it was just crazy to see the following 24 hours everything that happened, and it was the first of its kind like airdrop as well, in that it was such a large airdrop to so many people and it was worth so much. And the same is kind of like happened with ENS, which is crazy because I said yesterday that I expected the ENS token price to be like a minimum $10 because that would be a $1 billion market cap, which was similar to what Gitcoin's was. Or should I say fully diluted value? It's gone to more than that. I think the current price of ENS is $40, which is a $4 billion fully diluted valuation. So, you know, depending on how many tokens you got will obviously dictate the size of your airdrop. But I think the airdrops were anywhere from, you know, maybe a couple hundred tokens if you'd had your ENS name for a little while to thousands of tokens, depending on how long you had it for. So obviously if you got 1,000 tokens, that is a $40,000 airdrop right there. Crazy, right? These airdrops have literally changed people's lives. And I saw someone, I think it was Mike Demaris, the founder of the Rainbow Wallet. He got, I think, $1 million worth of ENS tokens in his airdrop because he had so many ENS names for so long and has been a big supporter of them. I think this early supporting of kind of like people through token this early supporting that people do for protocols and then get airdropped the token is such a unique and such a crypto or Ethereum kind of based thing. It's just amazing how many times this has happened and how many times it's probably going to happen into the future. And I mean, there's plenty of projects left in Ethereum that haven't done an airdrop yet, and I'm sure they're going to do that in the future. And it's kind of become a thing now where it's like, you can't launch a token without doing an airdrop anymore, because if you do, the community is kind of going to be like, well, what the hell? Like, where's my airdrop? Not just that, not out of a sense of entitlement either. Maybe some people are like that, but also out of a sense of, well, if you didn't airdrop the tokens, where are the tokens going to? Like, if you're trying to decentralize the protocol, then where are your tokens going to? And I went through ENS's distribution on one of the refuels the other day, and how I thought it was actually a very fair distribution. But for any protocol that doesn't do an airdrop, okay, well then you're like, okay, well, where are all the tokens? Then they'll say, a lot of them are in the treasury. I'm like, okay, well then, if the community has no tokens from an airdrop, then the treasury is de facto controlled by the team and investors. And again, another beautiful thing about ENS is that it had no investors, no VCs, nothing. 25% of the supply went to the airdrop, 25% went to early contributors and core team members, and 50% went to the treasury. A nice, clean distribution of tokens without any VCs or funds sitting in there. And there's vesting on the team and core contributors of 4 years. No vesting for the airdrop. It's a pretty liquid market right now, so if you wanted to sell, you can. But yeah, just an amazing day to be an Ethereum, really. And I had a few people asking me about who they should delegate their ENS tokens to if you're planning on holding your ENS tokens. There is actually a list that comes up when you go through the claims process, and it says, who do you want to delegate to? The top delegates right now, as Corey.eth kind of says here, there's a list. Basically, Coinbase was number one when Corey put this tweet out. I think it's changed a bit. But Coinbase, actually, the fact that Coinbase put their hat in the ring to get involved with ENS governance is pretty amazing. Coinbase has always been such a great supporter of the Ethereum ecosystem. I'm really excited to see them continue being that supporter, because we need, in the Ethereum ecosystem, we need decentralized exchanges to support us from like a fiat gateway perspective, but also from an onboarding perspective and getting those kind of like L2 supported and stuff like that. So yeah, really cool to see them there. But also the rest of the leaderboard reads as follows: Brantley.eth, which is one of the ENS core developers, Rainbow Wallet.eth, which is, as I said, was Mike Demaris, who I got a large airdrop there. He's been a long-time Ethereum community member, long-time ENS fan. Nick.eth, former Ethereum core developer and also an ENS core developer. Mike Demares, as I kind of mentioned before, kind of same as Rainbow Wallet. Fire Eyes DAO, they're a kind of like a group of people that do a lot of advising for different projects around their tokens and DAOs and things like that. So they're a great group. Abza, which is Alex Vandersand, who I mentioned yesterday, I think. Simona, she has been in the Ethereum ecosystem for quite a while now, has worked on ETH bounties and with Gitcoin and things like that. Corey.eth, which is the Corey that's tweeting this, he created the ETH burn bot and has been basically involved in the Ethereum ecosystem for quite a while. Lefteris, who I think I mentioned yesterday, the creator of the Rotkey portfolio accounting app, and AB, we're going to make it.eth. I don't know who that is. I maybe someone's going to call me out for not knowing who that is, but essentially, basically, these are the top delegates right now. I mean, any of these choices are good. I would probably encourage people not to choose Coinbase, just because we don't exactly know who at Coinbase is going to be using this governance power. I personally prefer to select individuals because I actually know who's going to be wielding the power. I haven't claimed my ENS tokens on Sassel.eth yet because I was waiting for gas to be cheaper, at least under 100 Gwei, because there's no rush to claim it right now because I don't plan to sell those tokens. So no rush to claim, and claiming is pretty expensive. I think it was $250 at one point when I checked earlier today, and I was like, nah, I'm not spending $250 in gas fees just to claim these tokens that I'm not even selling, because you've got until May 2022 to claim. So I'm just going to wait for gas to be a bit cheaper because gas went crazy today, obviously, because everyone was trying to claim and trade it and stuff like that. But I think I'm going to probably delegate to, maybe I shouldn't say who I'm going to delegate to actually, because I don't want to kind of like influence your decision. I don't want to kind of like make it so you be like, oh, well, Sassel's, delegating to this person, I'll follow him. I'm not going to tell you who I'm going to delegate to. I have a few people in mind. They may or may not be on this list. There's plenty of good delegates out there. Yeah, as I said, like, you can always ping me in the Discord channel and I'll answer if you want a review of a delegate, and I'll tell you if I think that, that you should delegate to them or not. But great to see that there's already a really, really strong list here on the leaderboard. So awesome. I guess, like, in terms of ENS going forward, I think that this is really only the beginning for the project. I mean, everyone's going to have a .eth name. It's as simple as that. Like, if you're an Ethereum user, you have to have a .eth name. That is just the way it's going to be. Everyone's going to want to have one. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what ENS does with Layer 2, because obviously registering on Layer 1 is not cheap, and I can't wait for them to actually be on a Layer 2 where people can register their ENS names there and do it for much, much cheaper than it is today. But if it's funny, because if you compare it to, I guess, like registering a domain name, for example, like a .com, I don't know exactly how much that costs, but it's not free. It's at least tens of dollars, I think, the last time I checked. So if we can get the cost down to that for an ENS name, I think that's good enough. And that's exactly what these Layer 2s will do, probably even cheaper than that. But I think that obviously no one's going to want to spend hundreds of dollars to set up their ENS. Like, that's a bit ridiculous, and it kind of like turns people away. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the Layer 2 arena going forward. All right, so Ludocoin from Hot Protocol put out this really great Twitter thread, basically as a call to arms about getting Uniswap liquidity incentives on Arbitrum and Optimism. Now, I've discussed this before and about how Layer 2 is growing nice and steady, but to really supercharge the growth and to bootstrap it, you need token incentives. Now, Arbitrum and Optimism do not have a token right now. They may or may not have one in the future. I'm betting that they will, but who knows when that's going to be. So it's really on the ecosystem projects to kind of like put some liquidity incentives there to bootstrap the growth. And that's basically what Ludocoin has done in his thread here. He's put together reasoning why he believes this should happen, and then put together kind of like a temperature check on the governance forum, and then a snapshot vote for it as well. I think this will pass, to be honest. It's just kind of like ironing out the details of how many Uni tokens should be paid out of the treasury to these kind of like Layer 2 solutions. How long should the program last for? What should be the target? What are the KPIs? Things like that. Because at the end of the day, like, I know that projects don't want to be responsible for bootstrapping the entire ecosystem on one of these new networks, but at the same time, Uniswap is one of those projects where essentially they're only on Arbitrum and Optimism. They're not even on the Polygon POS chain, right? They're only on Arbitrum, Optimism, and Ethereum layer 1. And they're obviously like forks of Uniswap, like PancakeSwap on BSC and stuff like that. But Uniswap itself is only on those 3 networks right now. And so they have like a really unique opportunity here to put those uni rewards to work and get people to use Arbitrum and Optimism. But at the same time, I don't think it's just liquidity incentives. It's also on ramps. As I mentioned before, we need places like Coinbase to just do on-ramps to these things, because without that, it's going to be very hard to convince people to pay, massive bridging fees from layer 1 to get to these layer 2s. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But I think that the funny thing is that I think people will be fine paying those bridging fees if there's liquidity incentives as well. And then once they're actually on layer 2, it's fine. They can just stay there. They don't have to pay those bridging costs again, as long as they bridge in enough value, and they can just play around and stay there. And there's no real need for them to kind of like offload unless they're going to fiat or something like that, or unless they want to use some other protocol that's not on these layer 2s. But there's bridges for that. They're kind of like pass through. I mean, Hot Protocol is one of those bridges. There's plenty of others out there like Connects and stuff like that as well. So yeah, give this thread a read. I'm definitely supportive of this idea, because Uniswap's treasury has $11 billion sitting in it right now. So obviously putting that to use is going to be very, very net positive for the Ethereum ecosystem, especially at layer 2. So Rocket Pool is finally live after how many years? Like 5 years or something like that. Rocket Pool is finally live on the Ethereum mainnet. And in just 2 hours, there was 94 nodes across 28 time zones being registered. I think there's a lot more now. And there's actually a website that you can use, which I'll link in the YouTube description here, that lets you track the kind of status of the network. I think this is a really, really cool website, but it lets you track the status of the network. There's 149 nodes now across 36 time zones. And you can see kind of like the minimum kind of like RPL required to become a node. You can become a node with 16 ETH as well, which obviously 16 ETH is to become a node in the Rocket Pool network. It's not, you don't have to use 16 ETH to participate in Rocket Pool. You can use it, I think, as low as 0.01 ETH, which is awesome. But as I mentioned yesterday, I'm so happy to see Rocket Pool finally live. I know the community is stoked for this. I know that there are a lot of people who have been waiting to stake are stoked for this as well. Just stake with lower values. I mean, you can now stake with just like 1 ETH. I mean, the funny thing is you have to account for gas fees. So if you've only got 0.01 ETH to stake, well, it's probably not going to be worth it, because you're probably going to spend that much in gas just to be able to stake to begin with. But, if you've got like 1 ETH or something like that, then you can definitely stake that through Rocket Pool. Yes, you're going to probably still suffer from like the higher gas fees, but you're still going to be able to get in there. And I'm wondering if Rocket Pool is going to do a kind of like batched onboarding, where they basically pull together funds and then be able to kind of like split the gas fee or amortize the gas fee across users. Maybe that's on their roadmap. I haven't checked, but still really, really cool to see this. You know what's funny? I actually, there's 149 nodes right now. I'm curious to see what that number looks like in a few months. I'm planning on spinning up some Rocket Pool validators with some ETH that I've still got that isn't in ETH2 staking under my own validators, because I really want to help the network here and keep it decentralized. But could we get to a point where there's like thousands of these Rocket Pool nodes, and the Rocket Pool network actually becomes more decentralized than some of these layer 1 networks? That'd be really, really cool as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Rocket Pool evolves, and I'm just really happy that it's finally live on the Ethereum mainnet. And the community, I went in there today again in the Discord channel, in the Rocket Pool Discord channel. They're awesome. Always a good time in there. So definitely join their Discord channel if you want to kind of like get a vibe with the community about everything Ethereum. So Across Protocol is now live. So it's now live on the Ethereum mainnet. It is, well, they claim it is the fastest, cheapest, and most secure L2 to L1 bridge. And they say any potential Across token will be distributed in the fairest way possible. And apparently all the users, the community, will be deciding who gets it. And Across says here that we are all co-founders, essentially, of Across Protocol, which I think is a cool approach. They're basically starting from like a community-first approach, where they're basically like, well, it's in the community's hands. We're going to do like a fair launch, where basically the community gets to decide what the token distribution looks like, which is super awesome. But essentially, if you want to use the protocol right now for any future airdrops that happen, you can go to across.to to transfer ETH, USDC, and UMA from Arbitrum to Layer 1, other assets, and L2s to come. I haven't tried it yet. I've been meaning to try it. I just didn't get around to it today because just so much stuff was happening. I literally spent like 6 hours today just non-stop trying to keep up with everything. I recorded a podcast with Eric for ETHUB. it was just crazy. And I had a painter over as well today, and it was just like mayhem. So I haven't really had a chance to check it out yet, but still, go check it out, use it. I mean, obviously use it for if you want to kind of like airdrop farm, but also use it if you're going from Arbitrum to L1 and see how it kind of works there. You can read the Across Light paper as well. It's based on UMA's optimistic oracle here, which is really cool. It's really unique, as I mentioned before. And Across Protocol is actually being audited as well by Open Zeppelin. So this isn't just some kind of like early kind of, I guess, thing that's unaudited. You can trust that Open Zeppelin, one of the premier kind of auditing and development firms in the Ethereum ecosystem, been around for quite a while, has audited it. And it's been built by engineering talent from UMA Protocol as well. And UMA's kind of been audited before as well and been around for quite a while too. So definitely go check out Across Protocol at across.to and check out their blog post for more details about their quote-unquote fair launch and about how they're going to be distributing tokens to the ecosystem. So Sam McPherson from the protocol engineering group at MakerDAO has put out this kind of like image teasing DAI Maker kind of like L2. So you can see here that Optimism, Polygon Hermes, zkSync, Starknet, Arbitrum, Fuel are all listed here as kind of like L2s that Maker wants to support. And I think there was another quote tweet from this where someone else from I think it was not from the Maker team, Chris here from he's the layer 2 researcher at MakerDAO, but also one of the people who was involved with L2Beat, he quote tweeted and said, "I'm so excited for what's coming for cross-chain Maker that it hurts." And I've gone through kind of like Maker's plans for cross-chain before and cross L2 and how they're planning to work it out there. They essentially want to have it so that there's like native bridges between all of these L2s so that they can keep track of the DAI supply and that it all happens, and like DAI minting happens at layer 1. So yeah, I mean, I'm super hyped to see what Maker's final implementation looks like for their cross L2 kind of like features. I think that Aave has, as I went through on the other day when Aave detailed V3, they have a really good approach where they're using their A tokens to go cross-chain and cross L2. But I think that when you keep it in the family and keep it just to the L2s, you can do even more stuff because you don't have to worry about kind of like trusted bridges and different kind of like networks and stuff like that, because all these things are going to be going through Ethereum layer 1, of course, and Ethereum layer 1 is going to be powering all of them, and they're all going to be able to talk to each other in a really nice way. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Maker does here with DAI, with the Maker protocol on cross-chain and cross L2. So speaking of L2s, Matter Labs, the guys behind, or the team behind, I should say, zkSync, have raised $50 million in a new funding round led by A16Z with participation from other investors like Placeholder, Dragonfly Capital, and 1KX. Now, full disclosure here, I participated in this round. Very, very proud to participate in this round, of course. zkSync are building amazing things. We're building their zkVM, zk rollups, and zk Porter. I mean, they are one of the premier layer 2 teams out there right now. But what I found really interesting about the way zkSync did the Matter Labs did their Series B round here is that not only did they include kind of like obviously these big name VCs that are pretty much like in every round these days, but they also have strategic partners with angels, but also a lot of different projects within the ecosystem. So you can see here that they have financing from partners such as blockchain.com, crypto.com, Consensus, leadership of Aave, Paraswap, Lido, Gnosis. I mean, look at all the things that Connext. And the reason why you would do this is because essentially what zkSync is trying to do is trying to get everyone on board to support them as early as possible. So when they go live with their mainnet zkEVM and their mainnet zk Porter, they want to be able to get all these infrastructure projects to support them. All the bridges from day one, getting kind of like centralized exchange on-ramps, getting all the DeFi projects to onboard and integrate and everything like that. So this is very, very smart, I thought here. But yeah, amazing raise, $50 million. That's going to give them a lot of kind of runway here. And zkSync have confirmed that they're doing a token before as well. So there's no need to speculate here. They have literally said they're doing a token. If you want to airdrop farm it, there are only a couple of ways right now to do so. If you've used Gitcoin to donate using zkSync, well, then you've already done it. Or received donations, then you've already got it. But then there's one other way, I think, where you can use Curve that's on the zkSync testnet. It's been on there since like November last year, but using that may qualify you as well for it. So those are the couple ways, but there's going to be more ways going forward. I mean, they have the Uniswap port as well. They ported to their zkEVM, which you can use You can find that on their blog post as well, or on their Twitter account. But essentially, yeah, as I said, there's no need to speculate. They have said they're going to have a token, and they've also said that they're going to be distributing that token, the majority of it, to the community as well. So very much looking forward to that. But I guess congrats to Meta Labs. This is, I mean, pretty much like every layer 2 team has done a Series B round so far. Obviously Arbitrum did one, Starkware's done one. Polygon hasn't really done like Series A or Series B because they have like a liquid token already, so they've just been selling tokens in kind of like a strategic sales and stuff like that. And who else is there? Optimism is probably doing one. I don't know. There's probably like plenty of kind of like of these teams still raising these Series Bs. But as I said before, it's rare for a crypto team to go beyond a Series B. So it's kind of like Series B, then tokenized sort of thing. So curious to see what happens. I think 2022 is really going to be the L2 wars, where all these L2s are going to have tokens. They're going to be fighting for everyone's liquidity, fighting to get projects, fighting to get infrastructure support. And we're going to have a true year of L2. I thought it was going to be this year, but I think it's going to be next year now, because tokens really do lead to bootstrapping growth and going to lead to much more growth than they would have without a token. So yeah, once again, congrats to the Meta Labs team on this awesome raise here. Very proud to be an investor as well, of course. So Uniswap have announced that they're kind of like changing their branding of the Uniswap protocol. So you can see here that basically, actually no, they've got 3 different kind of brands that they're going for. So the one on the left is what they're kind of assigning to the Uniswap protocol itself. It's kind of like a shield with the unicorn, I guess like a unicorn in the shape of a shield. Then you have a Uniswap Labs, which is a shield with the kind of like inverted and kind of like uninverted XYK curve here, which is how Uniswap works, or how the AMM works. And then you've got the Uniswap grants program on the far right with a shield with kind of a bit of kind of like decorations pointing out of it. Now, I know that branding and kind of like logos are super subjective, right? This is not something that everyone's going to agree on. I've seen some people kind of criticize it, saying that it looks too, I guess, like normie, and it looks too much like the traditional finance system that has a lot of kind of like shields for their logos, especially a lot of universities. But I actually think it strikes a nice balance between what Uniswap is and kind of like what Uniswap wants to be. It wants to be like a premier kind of product and service on Ethereum. It wants to be taken very seriously, but it also wants to keep its Ethereum roots and its kind of like crypto native roots, which is what I think the fact that they're splitting the brand up, or the logos up, into 3 different kind of things here, depending on what it is, definitely makes a lot of sense to me. So I'm a fan of it, of course, but obviously you're all going to have very different opinions there. And I think it's going to, yeah, you can share feedback through the governance forum as well. This is definitely not the finalized design. So if you want to share feedback, you can go to this link. It'll be linked in the YouTube description. But I think that generally, I like it. I don't know. I really do like it. I like the pink. I've always liked the Uniswap pink. It's very distinct. And I've always liked the Uniswap kind of like unicorn branding. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. But definitely go check this out and kind of give your feedback if you want to. So the Discord CEO, or the founder CEO of Discord, has teased Ethereum integration with Discord today. So you can see here that you'll be able to connect your Ethereum wallet via MetaMask or Wallet Connect in, I guess, like an upcoming release. Now, what I wanted to kind of like focus on for a bit here is not so much the kind of like tweet teaser, but the fact that if you go to the quote tweets, like if you click the quote tweets here, you are going to see an endless amount of people kind of hating on Discord. You can see it here, like, fuck you, Discord. Please, God, make it stop. I'm going to quit using Nitro. There are so many of these, literally thousands of these responses. And it really all comes down to these people are anti-NFT for one reason or another. I mean, the 2 main reasons I saw was that they think they are Ponzi or kind of like scams. And secondly, they think that the environmental impact is too great, which they don't really understand how blockchains work. They don't understand that if NFTs aren't being used on a blockchain, it doesn't matter. Ethereum is still going to produce blocks whether there's NFTs or not in those blocks, right? Because the Ethereum network does more than just NFTs. And the second thing, calling it a scam and the Ponzi, I mean, that's just uninformed. Obviously, a lot of it may be a scam and a Ponzi. A lot of life is a scam and a Ponzi, but there's a lot of fundamental value here as well. So yeah, I mean, if you want to scroll through it and kind of like just see the craziness, you can do that. But I mean, there's nothing of real value there, really. It's just a bunch of people yelling into the void, I think. But yeah, I hope Discord doesn't pull this kind of like feature integration to please some kind of like really loud people who just don't understand the technology, because this would be really cool to be able to connect your Ethereum wallet directly into your Discord account. I'd love to connect Sassel.eth to this and just have it natively within Discord, because I use Discord all the time. So yeah, great to see that from Jason here. So Coinbase now has a wallet extension. So if you have used the Coinbase wallet in the past, essentially, I think the Coinbase Wallet extension allowed you to do a few things before, and obviously the Coinbase Wallet mobile app has allowed you to do even more. But now the Coinbase Wallet extension is basically a MetaMask competitor. So it'll allow you to connect to any kind of like Web3 enabled website if you install this extension, and it'll allow you to do what you've done with MetaMask before. And the funny thing is about this is that MetaMask has competitors now, and I've spoken about this, I think, a few months ago on the Refuel, but MetaMask has a lot of competitors now, but I don't know how successful these competitors are going to be at getting people to migrate away from MetaMask. Like, I know MetaMask is missing a lot of features, and it's not really a feature-rich kind of platform. It has a lot of issues, but I can trust that MetaMask is safe and secure, at least under the hood, right? Obviously, there are kind of like ways that hackers can get access to your funds through MetaMask, and you should be keeping all your funds on a hardware wallet anyway. But I pass through MetaMask through my hardware wallet a lot of the time. But for me to change from MetaMask to Coinbase Wallet, I mean, I just probably not going to do it. Like, to be honest, I have no real reason to change. I'm a desktop power user. I don't really need all the fancy bells and whistles. I use other tools for that, like Zappa. But this is cool because it just puts pressure on MetaMask to kind of, I guess, like add more features, do more things. And it's just another kind of like browser wallet extension that's in the fray here. And speaking of kind of like MetaMask having to do things to maybe kind of like compete here, Joseph Lubin has actually teased that, Icebergy here put out a tweet where they took a screenshot of the Coinbase Wallet extension announcement and said MetaMask is going to have to drop a token. And then this journalist from Coindesk said, not going to happen. JPM, being JP Morgan, owns at least 10% of MetaMask controlling entity, being Consensus. They don't want tokens on the balance sheet, I bet. And then Joe Lubin, the CEO and founder of Consensus, said, Andrew, Consensus has thousands of tokens on our balance sheet. Consensus is vigorously controlled by its employees, which includes me, and we are driving towards decentralization of several of our projects. When Mask, stay tuned. When objective journalism, sir. So Joe Lubin basically dropped the mic here while also teasing that MetaMask token is coming. So I think this is all the confirmation you need. People have been speculating about this for a while, but for Joe Lubin to say when Mask, stay tuned, he didn't just say when Mask is kind of like the meme. He said when Mask, stay tuned, which basically means that it's coming, but we don't know when just yet. Now, this kind of got people talking today. It's like, how would you distribute MetaMask tokens? The easiest way for them to do it would be if you have used the MetaMask swap feature. They can collect all those addresses and then airdrop tokens to those kind of those sorts of people that have used that. But that's really the only thing they can do, because MetaMask doesn't know what addresses you have connected or kind of like created on the MetaMask wallet. They just don't have access to that information. So they wouldn't be able to tell. And also on top of that, there's no real way for them to kind of like, I guess I could do a Sybil resistant mechanism either. So they would have to go through the swap feature. Now, because of this, and because of Joe's tweet today, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people trying to game this airdrop right now, but maybe the snapshot had already been taken. I don't think Joe would be kind of like saying this unless the Mask token was close. So it probably is happening soon if I had to kind of make a bet there. But there is one other way they could distribute the token, and that's basically checking the Infura log. So this is maybe a bit esoteric, so I have to explain it a little bit. But when you install MetaMask, you have your RPC at the top, right? Your network that you're connected to, and it will say like the Ethereum mainnet or like a testnet or another network like Arbitrum, Optimism, or something else. Now, when you're on the Ethereum main network, when you first install MetaMask, it defaults to the Infura endpoint. What that means is that all of your transactions that go through MetaMask are routed through Infura's full nodes that they run, the infrastructure that they run, and then that gets it into the mempool, which then gets it mined. And then you obviously your transaction gets processed. Now, I don't know if Infura keeps logs for a long time. Maybe they have. I don't even know if they log for this sort of stuff. But that's another way they could do it, because essentially they'd be able to say, well, check all the people who used Infura because they would have used it through MetaMask, and airdrop MetaMask tokens to those people. Maybe that's a way they're going to do it. But those are the only two ways that I can think of. Maybe someone else can come up with something that I haven't thought of. But I definitely do not think that there's anything else. Like I've asked other people that I know. I've asked other people that kind of like know kind of like how MetaMask works under the hood and how Infura works and all that sort of stuff. Really, those are the only two ways that I can think of. So I guess if you haven't used the swap feature yet, maybe it's worth using it just in case they haven't taken the snapshot at this point. And all you have to do is go to MetaMask, click swap, and it's like their centralized exchange swapper, but it also carries a fee with it. I think it's a 0.8% fee on top of the fee that you'll take for interacting with a decentralized exchange as well, which is normally like 0.3%. But it may be worth it if there is a MetaMask token, or when there is a MetaMask token. I'm sure a Mask token is going to be coming very, very soon. So keep an eye out for that for sure. All right, so finally here, Tim Byko from the Ethereum core devs has put out a kind of like a message here saying that they are looking for EIP editors, or Ethereum Improvement Proposal editors. So EIPs power Ethereum. They allow anyone to propose a standard for either the protocol itself or applications. Right now, only 2 people act as part-time editors, and we're looking for others to help. So more info here in this link, which will be linked in the YouTube description. If this sounds like something you would like to do, if you're looking for your front door, if you're looking for the front door into getting your foot in the door, that's the kind of that's the saying I was looking for. If you're interested in getting your foot into the door for crypto, this is probably a really, really awesome place to start. So if you have a background in kind of like technical writing, or kind of like writing documentation, stuff like that, this is probably something that will interest you. But I'll leave a link to it in the YouTube description. You can go check it out. But I think that's going to be it for today. So thank you everyone for listening and watching. Be sure to subscribe to that channel if you haven't yet. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the newsletter, join the Discord channel, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Thanks everyone.